after you left, he increased the poison to a lethal dose, thus ridding himself of his creditors.
He did it?
Yes.
Ralph Campbell?
Yes.
And he let me sitting here all these years.
Lizzie, you will be compensated for that time, but I realize nothing the government can do will ever replace those years.
I can get out?
Yes, of course.
I'm innocent.
Paul?
What is it?
That phone call. It was from the police. They found your car and the thief.
Oh.
They want you to identify him.
Identify him?
They say he's your son.
Don't sign out yet, Meg.
Oh, what's up?
The governor wants to see us in her office. The afternoon paper ran a story about Lizzie being innocent. She wants to know how they found out about it.
What's it got to do with us?
Well, somebody must have leaked it. Only the senior officers and Paul Reed knew what was going on. Could you ask Paul Reed to report immediately to the governor's office?
Oh, he's not here. He's already left.
Probably getting out while the going was good.
Come in. Where's Mr. Reed?
He's already left. Quick off the mark, as usual.
Well, actually, he had to leave. His car was stolen last night. The police phoned to say that they'd recovered it.
I see. Miss Bennett told you why I wanted to see you.
Yes.
And?
I don't know anything about it.
The journalist who wrote this article is the one who was here this morning. Did either of you speak to him?
No.
I did, but only in the line of duty. It was Mr. Reed who invited him here.
I'm aware of that.
Well, perhaps one of the women said something.
Oh, how could they? They didn't know anything. Besides, I was watching them all the time.
They might have slipped him a message.
As Miss Bennett said, there was no message to slip him.
Imagine it. That old bastard walking around all these years while I've been stuck in here.
I suppose you're lucky you came good in the end.
Lucky? I was due for me parole anyway. He ain't done me no favours.
Well, at least this way you'll get compensation.
Yeah? How?
For wrongful imprisonment.
How much do you reckon I'll get, B?
Oh, I don't know. Would have been millions for all the years you've been locked up in this dump.
You'd be lucky. They'd charge you board and lodging if they could get away with it. You need to get a good lawyer, Lizzie.
Oh, I'll be all right. Old Davo will look after me.
Davo? Fat lot of good you'll get out of trusting her. She wouldn't even have told you you were innocent if B hadn't forced her into it.
What do you mean?
Tell her, B.
Well, I didn't want to take all the credit. After all, it was Chrissy who broke into the governor's office and had a look at your record. After a bit of persuasion, of course.
When did this happen?
Day before yesterday. During the riot alarm.
Day before yesterday. And you let me sweat.
Well, we had to, didn't we? I didn't want to build your hopes up until I could smuggle the story out. I gave it to that journo with all those papers. I reckon he must have found it.
Why else would they have told Lizzie the truth?
Oh, now, come on, love. What do you care if the screws are a pack of bastards? You're going to be out of here soon.
Stop that. Just to think you did all that for me. Just for me. I'm not going to have any friends like that on the outside.
Well, aren't you going to say anything?
What do you expect me to say?
Well, I don't know. Say you're upset, angry, disappointed, but say something.
I'm all of those things. You know you have an infinite capacity for making me feel like a bloody fool. Imagine having to bail out your own son for stealing your own car.
You didn't have to bail me out.
All right. I didn't have to bail you out. I had to lie for you, and that's worse. And why did you do it?
I needed the car.
You could have asked me.
Would you have let me have it?
Tony, I don't know what's got into you. If your mother could see you now.
Oh, that's right. Bring that up again. Well, she can't, can she? She's dead.
All right, that's enough. I know you miss her, we both miss her. But that doesn't excuse your behavior. I thought when we moved to Melbourne, things would be better.
Better? You take me away from my mates. I've got no friends, no one to talk to. You just come home and stick your nose in a book.
All right, you want to talk, we can talk.
When?
Now, what do you want to talk about?
Well, for a start, there's tech.
Mm-hmm. What about it?
Well, it's so bloody boring.
Paul Reed.
Mr. Reed, Erica Davidson here. I trust the police have returned your car.
Yes, they have. Thank you very much.
Then perhaps you'd drive back to the detention centre. I'd like a word with you.
Well, can it wait until morning?
No, I'm afraid it can't.
Oh, okay, fine. I'll be there in about 15 minutes. Tony, something's come up. I have to go back to work. We'll continue this when I get home, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Paul Reed, Mrs. Davidson.
Thank you. Sit down, please.
Thank you. What's the problem?
I understand it was you who persuaded Noel James to visit the prison today.
That's right. You okayed it.
What incentive did you offer him to come here?
None. The man is a journalist. He probably saw the opportunity of getting a story.
What story specifically?
Look, what's going on here? I went through the normal procedures. The man came out here to lecture the women on running a newspaper. It's as simple as that.
Not quite. Somehow, whilst he was here, he found out about the possibility of Lizzie being innocent.
Well, I didn't tell him.
Somebody did.
It wasn't me.
You realize how serious this could have been if the investigation had not established that she was innocent.
The investigation did establish that she's innocent.
Yes.
Then what's the problem?
The problem is that someone has leaked confidential information to the press from this office. I want to know who is responsible.
I'm afraid I can't help you. Now, look, my job relies on my having the confidence of other people. I cannot afford to betray their trust, least of all yours. But it's the results that count. And if no harm's been done, I suggest that the whole thing be forgotten about.
I have no intention of forgetting it.
That's entirely up to you. Now, look, I interrupted a very important discussion at home to be here if there's nothing else.
Not for the moment.
Fine, I'll see you in the morning.
It must have been him.
He certainly had the opportunity and the motive. Make sure the senior officers do not pass on any more confidential information to him for the time being, just to be on the safe side.
Yes, Mrs. Davidson.
Tony? Tony, you there?
Lizzie! Oh, where the hell is she?
Oh, here she comes.
Now, where the bloody hell have you been? I thought you were supposed to be working in here this morning.
I've been reading the paper.
And where'd you get that? Mrs. Jackson gave it to me. I reckon I could get anything I like in here now.
Well, I should hope so, since you're seeing as how you shouldn't be here at all. When are they letting you out?
Mrs. Davidson said we've got to wait for the red tape.
Yeah, front page, eh, Lizzie? They'll be wanting to buy your live story next.
Do you reckon? God, I could tell them a story or two.
So could I.
Yeah, not as good as the one the screws make up, but listen to this. Mrs. Davidson, Governor of Wentworth Detention Centre, said today there had been no attempt to cover up. That all the details had not been released earlier because the facts hadn't been checked.
Yeah. And they'd have still been checking facts when they carried Lizzie out of here feet first if we hadn't stepped in. I heard Davo was hopping mad about it.
I bet you'd love to know how we found out.
Morning. You're early?
Yes, and I had to work back late last night, waiting for Paul Reed. Would you like a cup of coffee?
Thanks. What did he say?
Well, he claims he doesn't know anything about it. But I don't believe him. Neither does Mrs. Davidson. She's given special instructions. No confidential information of any sort is to be passed on to him in future.
Good morning.
Morning.
Excuse me.
I don't seem to be very popular.
No.
Stupid business.
Well, it is quite serious.
Yes, and I don't suppose I'll get any peace until it's all cleared up. This is Paul Reed. Could you give me an outside line, please?
Yeah, James.
Oh, Mal, Paul Reed.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, it's about that story you ran in yesterday's newspaper. I'd like to know where you got your information from.
Sorry, my source is confidential. Besides, I checked it out. The story's accurate.
No, I'm not disputing that. It's just that they're blaming me for it. However, you can rest assured that any information you give me will go no further than me.
Well, it's no skin off my nose. One of your women slipped it to me.
You don't happen to know her name, do you?
No, not offhand. But she was a big redhead.
I see. Thanks, Mel. We'll be in touch. Well, looks like we're getting somewhere.
Oh?
You on duty?
Yes.
Could you bring Lizzie Bursworth to my office when you get a second?
Right.
Do you reckon the newspaper will really buy me story, B?
Yeah, they buy any fool story these days.
How much do you think I'd get for it?
Oh, no, $1,000 or more.
$1,000? God! Think how many bottles of gin I could buy with that. Hundreds and hundreds.
That just shows how long you've been in here, Lizzie. It's about $15 a bottle these days.
It can't be.
You want to bet?
How much do you say my pension would be?
About $50.
That's only about 4 bottles.
Oh, Lizzie, Mr. Reed wants to see you in his office.
Is it about me getting out?
Well, you'd better ask him.
Oh,
Come on, everybody, back to work.
Right, Mrs. Jackson, I'd like to see the governor, please.
I'll see what I can do.
So,
There we go, Lizzie.
thanks. You haven't got anything to put in it, have you?
Sugar?
No, thanks.
Well, Lizzie, you'll probably be out of here by tomorrow afternoon. Have you thought about where you're going to stay? And do you have any relatives?
Got some kids somewhere, but I haven't seen them in years. I wouldn't even know where to look for them.
What about friends?
Only door.
Oh, yes. Angela Jeffries phoned me yesterday. There is a room for you at the halfway house if you want it.
With door?
Yeah. You'd like to live with Dor, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah. Do you reckon I could write her a letter and tell her to meet me when I get out?
Yeah, you do that and give it to me. Quicker than the post, and by then we'll know exactly what time you're getting out. In the meantime, all you have to do is sit and wait. Oh, by the way, you'll be relieved of all duties.
Oh, couldn't I do something? That's awful boring just hanging around. Do you reckon I could work in the kitchen?
I don't see why not. I'll arrange that.
Thanks.
Lizzie, when did you find out that you were to be released?
Yesterday, Mrs. Davidson told me.
None of the other women knew.
Well, I didn't say anything about it.
But they did know. Lizzie, it would help if I knew how they found out.
I'm not lagging. They're the only friends I've had for the past 20 years.
Yeah, thanks, Lizzie. Can I help you with that?
No, thank you.
Do you think it's wise leaving it there? You're just putting temptation in the prisoner's way.
That's why the women are here. To learn how to resist temptation. Besides, the security gates are kept locked. The women can't get in here.
Oh, I don't know. Somebody managed to get a hold of Lizzie Birdworth's report.
We all know what happened.
Do we?
You were the only one who knew about it, except for the senior officers.
Ah, but we didn't tell the press, did we? So somebody must have broken into Mrs. Davidson's office.
Nonsense.
Miss Bennett,
Yes?
I trust you'll be ready to apologize when I prove you wrong.
Yes, Smith, what's the problem?
No problem. We just heard that Lizzie was getting out. We thought we'd like to give her a farewell party.
Yes, all right. Ask Mr. Reed to take care of that, would you, Mrs. Jackson? I think that's something he could handle.
Right. Thanks. Mr. Reed isn't too popular, I take it.
What makes you say that?
Well, you wouldn't have to be a clairvoyant to work that one out, would you?
Mrs. Jackson, Mr. Reed says I'm getting out tomorrow. Would you give him this? It's for Dor, telling her to meet me tomorrow. I'm going to live with her.
Oh, that'll be nice. Here, we're giving you a farewell party, Lizzie.
Oh, great!
And this is a party with a difference. You get to give us the presents.
You've got to be joking.
Oh, you're the one that's getting all the money. Besides, all the stuff you've pinched since you've been in here, you could set the rest of us up for life.
I never stole nothing.
No, of course you didn't.
Come on, Bea, that's enough.
Don't get a hernia carrying it all out, will you, Lizzie?
Come in.
Mrs. Davidson wants to know if you'd arrange a farewell party for Lizzie tomorrow.
Right.
Oh, and Lizzie gave me this. She wants you to give it to Doreen Anderson.
Okay, thanks. Mrs. Jackson. Has anybody ever broken into Mrs. Davidson's office before?
Yes, some time ago. Lizzie raided her liquor cabinet.
Do you think that Lizzie could have got back in there to try and find out why the police were questioning her?
Oh, I don't think so, because this was before we kept the security gates closed. The only person who could get near the office these days would be someone who had access to the administration area.
Maternity's in administration, isn't it?
Yes, but we usually keep the gates closed there, too.
Okay, thank you.
Where's Bea?
She's with the social worker. What do you want her for?
I was thinking of something she said about a few things I borrowed from people.
A few things.
Yes, I decided to give them back. This is Bea's.
She's been looking for this for ages.
The battery's a bit flat, but Bea won't mind, will she?
Come in, Bea. Sit down. Well, you conned me good and proper, didn't you?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The story you gave to Mel James. You know, somehow he got the idea that I'd set the whole thing up for him. Couldn't thank me enough.
Well, it's nice to be appreciated.
Yes, unfortunately, Mrs. Davidson doesn't see it the same way.
Dave, I think she did it too. What a beauty.
Yes, so you can see I'm in a lot of trouble.
In it up to your neck, I'd say.
All because of you, Bea.
Nothing to do with me.
Mel told me that it was you who gave him the story.
Then he's a liar.
Why would he lie? Anyway, that doesn't concern me. What I want to know is how you women found out.
Now, how would I know that?
I thought that you knew everything that went on around here. All right, Bea, we can play cat and mouse games all day. It'll get us nowhere. Or we can get down to business. Now, if Mrs. Davidson thinks that I'm giving stories to the press, She's not likely to give me confidential information in the future, which is going to make my job here very hard.
So?
So I won't be much help to you women.
You're not much help to us now. What about poor old Lizzie? You knew all along they were trying to cover up the fact that she was innocent, and you did nothing about it.
That is not true. Lizzie was not told because nothing was definite until yesterday. It would have been a bit rough to build up her hopes only to find that her clearance didn't come through after all, now wouldn't it? Which is probably the reason why you didn't tell her yourself, I'd say.
All I can tell you is what I've heard. You know the other day when someone set that riot bill off? Mm-hmm. Well, that's what happened. They got into the governor's office, and it seems that report was sitting right on her desk.
Yeah, but how did they get in? There was no sign of forced entry.
Beats me.
So they must have had a key. Now, where would they get a key?
That is all I know.
Well, thank you, Bee.
You can do me a favour now.
So soon.
It's about Lizzie. We want to give her a proper send-off.
I thought you'd already cleared that with the governor.
We have, but because she's been here longer than anybody else, we want to make sure it's something real special.
Like?
A barbecue. That Barbie's been out there for years. No one's ever got around to using it. You reckon you can clear that with Davo?
Yes, I think I can.
Good, thanks.
Provided the weather holds.
It'd have to be snowing to stop it. And then I reckon there would be a riot.
What are you doing up here?
They gave me all the easy jobs. I'm getting out.
What? Your parole came through?
No, they reckon I'm innocent. Well, almost innocent.
You're kidding. After all these years?
Yeah, bloody cheek, isn't it?
Come on, Lizzie, stop chattering.
Oh, have a heart, Miss Phillip. I've only come to say goodbye.
All right, but don't be too long.
How are you feeling, love?
Awful. Oh, I just feel so cut off from everything.
Pretty bad, is it?
It's so quiet in here, I can hear my heart beating. It's driving me up the wall.
Yeah. How about if you pretended you had a bad ticker like mine? Then they couldn't put you in the pound anymore.
I don't think that'd work. They'd just get tests done. They'd know it wasn't true.
Yeah, I guess so. Here, I brought you a couple of books. I borrowed them from somebody, but I can't remember who.
Oh, Lizzie, thanks. Birdsworth? Birdsworth, how long does it take you to deliver a meal?
I was just going, Miss...
Just a minute. Where did these come from? As if I didn't know. Can't stay out of trouble for 1 minute, can you?
Oh, wasn't her fault.
Then you're just as bad. I'm going to put you both on report.
Well, I was only
Save
going
it for the governor, Birdsworth. Next time, keep your eyes open, Miss Phillip. You ought to know better. Come on, Birdsworth.
It was just some stuff I was given back that I'd borrowed, Mrs. Davidson. Person tries to do the right thing, but people don't want to know about it.
I see. And these books belong to Coulson?
Not exactly. I was giving them to her to cheer her up. She's only a kid, Mrs. Davidson. It seems a shame for her to be locked up there all on her own for so long.
That has nothing to do with you, Lizzie, and you have no business passing anything to her.
It was just a way of saying goodbye. I didn't mean any harm by it, Mrs. Davidson.
Perhaps not, but rules are rules, and the staff have better things to do than go chasing after you, making sure you keep them.
Yes, Mrs. Davidson.
Well, that is all. You can return to your duties. Cook will be wondering what's happened to you. No, I shall look after those and see that they get back to the right owners.
Yes, Mrs. Davidson.
That was a flagrant breach of regulations, and you're letting her get away with it.
Considering Lizzie has served at least 10 years here more than she should have, I think we can afford to overlook a few misdemeanors, don't you, Miss Bennet?
Tell you, I don't know nothing about no police report.
You were the only one who had the opportunity to see it, Chrissy.
Well, how'd you figure that one out?
Officer Williams told me that you were locked out of the building when somebody set the riot alarm off, right?
So what?
So you had access to the administration area while the staff were engaged elsewhere.
Big deal. How the hell would I have got into Davo's office? And what makes you think it happened then anyway? Well, it could have been anyone. It could have been the cleaners or you even.
But I know it was you, Chrissy, and I know how you did it. Now, where's the key?
What?
The key to Mrs. Davidson's office, where is it?
What key? What are you trying to pin on me?
Look, if you don't give it to me, I will have to make a full report to Mrs. Davidson. They'll tear this place apart until they find it, and it won't look very good for you.
You're just guessing.
You will lose all your remissions to date. You lose any chance you might have of remissions in the future.
There ain't no key.
You surprise me, Chrissy. Do you really think that the other women are going to cover for you? You're not very popular. With your reputation, they wouldn't hesitate to dob you in.
Who dobbed me in?
I didn't say anybody had dobbed you in. Now, look, it's no skin off my nose if you get the blame for this whole mess, but I want it cleared up. And all you've got to do is give me the key. I'll give it to Mrs. Davidson, and that will be it. Otherwise...
Well, how do I know you won't tell her where you got it from?
You don't. You'll just have to trust me. I don't think you've got much choice, Chrissy.
And I stay working in the laundry?
There'd be no reason to shift you from the laundry. Not over this, anyway.
Okay, then.
Any more for pressing, Kath?
What, already? God, you're getting through quick.
Well, Bea wants to get extra done, so we got more time for Lizzie's send-off tomorrow.
Yeah, fair go. I can't go faster than the machine.
Ah, come on, Pat, she's right. Let's have a smoke. I've just about had it. Where's Latham? It's almost knocking off time.
Oh, she had sick call this afternoon.
Oh, doesn't take all day to have a checkup. I swear, if this keeps going on, I'm going to report her. Then see what happens to her precious remission.
Yeah. You'd do that, wouldn't you?
Where have you been?
As if you didn't know.
No, I don't know, and I want an answer.
I've been with your mate, Paul Reed. What did he promise you, Bea? Maybe he didn't promise you anything. Maybe you're just a rotten bitch.
What are you bloody on about?
She lagged. She told him about getting into Davo's office. The key, everything. B. Smith's a dirty, stinking, rotten lagger.
You stupid cow. You told him. He was only guessing.
How else did he know about the key, then?
I tell you, he was only guessing or lying. Did he tell you I dobbed you in?
Who else would it have been?
Oh, you better get rid of that key, otherwise we're all in strife. You haven't given it to him.
Well, you said if I didn't, he'd tell the governor and I'd lose my remission.
Stupid. I don't believe it. I don't believe you. I hope that bastard of yours has got a brainy father, because he's not going to get any brains from you.
You!
Moron. You're nothing but troublemakers, the pair of you. All right, get to the dining room, the rest of you. You two can go to your cells.
Miss Bennett.
One more word out of anyone, and I'll have all privileges suspended for a week. Now get going.
I should have suspected this. It explains quite a few odd incidents in the past few weeks. What I cannot understand is why you are so determined not to say who told you.
I made a deal.
I don't approve of deals.
All right. Call it a compromise. I had nothing else to offer.
You could have simply reported your suspicions and we'd have done the rest.
Yes, but you may not have found that key, and I thought that getting that out of circulation was far more important.
You realize if I chose to, I could demand a full report from you.
Yes, of course you could. But what good would that do you? I've already told you everything I know, bar names, and I can't tell you that without betraying my confidence with the women.
I see. We'll let it rest, but one more question. Has this deal you made anything to do with Smith's request to use the barbecue facilities?
B. Smith did not manufacture that key, nor to my knowledge has she ever used it.
I see. Thank you. Oh, Mr. Reed, please accept my apologies.
Well, I suppose I was the obvious suspect.
Too obvious.
Night.
Mrs. Jackson, you don't have a car, do you?
No.
Well, could I offer you a lift?
Oh, yes, thank you if it's not too much trouble.
No trouble at all.
Looking very pleased with yourself.
Yes, well, I managed to get to the bottom of that newspaper article today.
Really, what happened?
I've already given the details to Mrs. Davidson. I think I should leave it to her to tell everybody else.
Sure, but you're in the clear.
Yes. Oh, by the way, I meant to thank you for not letting on it was my son the police called about.
It's all right. It's none of my business.
It's, just a misunderstanding, that's all.
I have a son too, you know. Oh, must be much the same age as your boy. He left home not long after Bill died.
Yeah, Tony's mother died 12 months ago.
Tough on them, isn't it?
Think I was one of them terrorists or something. All this fuss about a couple of books.
Come on.
I hope you're satisfied. Treating an old woman like this.
And no talking.
Well, when did you get home?
About half an hour ago.
And where did you spend last night?
With friends.
Same kind of friends you had in Adelaide by the look of you. Have you been drinking?
Shit, I am 18.
Don't you talk to me like that. If you're so grown up you think you can come and go as you please, maybe you better get out and find a place of your own.
Well, that's what I intend to do.
How do you intend to pay for it?
I'm going to get a job. That's what I was trying to tell you last night, only you wouldn't listen. I'm giving up tech.
evening, Fairfield Technical, Mr. Mackenzie's office.
My name is Paul Reed. I'd like to speak to Mr. Mackenzie, please.
He hasn't come in yet. This is his secretary speaking. Can I help you?
Yes, I'd like to make an appointment then to see him sometime today.
Certainly, sir. What was the name again?
Reed, Paul Reed.
And what is it you wish to see him about, Mr. Reed?
Oh, it's about my son, Tony. He's in engineering.
I see. When would you like to see him?
Well, preferably after work.
Well, I'm afraid Mr. Mackenzie's tied up this evening. Could you make it lunchtime?
Yes, that'll be fine, thank you.
Good. Say about 1 o'clock.
Right.
And you've no idea what Latham and O'Connell were fighting about?
Neither of them would say, although these days they don't seem to need a reason.
Yes, it is getting to be a habit. Well, I suppose we'd better separate them for a while at least. Put O'Connell to work in the kitchen.
Is that all?
Have you any better suggestion?
That's hardly a punishment.
Well, I doubt whether punishment would do either of them any good at the moment. The best thing is to separate them and give them both a chance to cool off.
What about the send-off for Birdsworth?
Well, what about it?
Am I to understand they're still to be released from work duties to attend?
That's right. Keeping any of her workmates from that would only be punishing Lizzie. And I'm sure you will agree, Miss Bennet, Lizzie has been punished quite enough.
You put the little bits on first, then you wait for it to catch, and then you put the big bits on.
I know.
You've got to screw the paper up real tight.
Oh, Lizzie, for Pete's sake.
All right. You do it if you're so smart.
Hey, what time are you getting out?
Oh, about 4 o'clock, the governor said. Is that right, Mrs. Jackson?
Yes, Lizzie.
Free as a bird, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, don't tell me you're going to miss us.
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah, get off it. Just you wait till you get that first beer into you. Then send me a postcard and tell me you want to come back.
Dora'll be there, too.
You try and keep her away.
Oh, you're doing it all wrong. Now look what you've done. You put the big ones on too soon. You gotta give it air. I told you, put the little ones on first and screw the paper up real tight. Like that.
Okay, thanks, Jenny. That'll be all. Could you send the next one in, please? Well, Chrissy, what's the problem?
You know damn well what the problem is.
Do I?
Yeah. You conned me into giving you that key. B never lagged. No one lagged.
I didn't say that anybody lagged. I don't even remember mentioning B.
You tricked me. You think you're bloody clever, don't you?
What are you going on about? I did you a favour.
Favour? What favour?
How long do you think you would have lasted in here with a piece of equipment like that? If the staff hadn't got to you, the women would have. I'm surprised you managed to keep it to yourself for so long. Now, look, I kept my promise. I didn't tell anybody where I got the key from or who gave it to me. Now, what more do you want?
How do I know you're telling the truth, though?
Don't be a fool, Chrissy. If I'd told anybody, you would have been in a pound by now. Now, look, I'm running late for an appointment. I have to go. Is there anything else?
Just don't think you can pull another Swifty like that one, that's all.
I'll keep it in mind.
That's okay. Don't. If you want to share a cell with me, I wouldn't give me any onion at all.
Has Lizzie made arrangements for this afternoon?
Yes, Doreen will be meeting her.
Oh, imagine releasing those two on an unsuspecting world. One of them would be bad enough.
A daunting prospect, I must admit. Poor Lizzie. It's not going to be easy for her adjusting after all these years. Who's Doreen's parole officer, Hepworth?
Yes, I think so.
I'll give him a ring and ask him to keep an eye on Lizzie.
He's supposed to be very good.
He'd need to be to keep Birdsworth out of trouble.
Top you up, Mrs. Davidson.
Thank you, Lizzie.
It's a bonza party. Thanks for letting us have it.
Oh, it's not my doing. Obviously, your friends think you're very special.
Yeah, they're good mates. I'm going to keep in touch with them. I'm allowed to, aren't I?
Of course. You can write. You can even visit if you like. You're not subject to parole conditions.
Terrific. And you'll keep in touch too, won't you, Miss Bennett?
You've got some guests arriving, Birdsworth.
Yeah.
Do you think that was wise, encouraging her to visit?
Well, it would be heartless to deny her if she wants to. I understand your concern, Vera, but this is the only world Lizzie has known for the last 20 years. It's going to be difficult enough for her outside without denying her contact with the only friend she's known.
I tell you, he never said nothing to David. Otherwise, how come we're all out here?
Well, you'd better be right, that's all. For your sake.
What's the matter? What are you all talking about?
Nothing to do with you, Lizzie. Not anymore, anyway. All right, you pack of bludgers. If you can all stop feeding your faces for a minute, I'd like you to charge your glasses so we can drink a toast to our old mate here. Lizzie. Lizzie. Oh, for she's a jolly good fellow, for she's a jolly good fellow, for she's a jolly good fellow. And so say all of us, and so say all of us, and so say all of us. For she's a jolly good fellow, for she's a jolly good fellow, for she's a jolly good fellow. And so say all of us. Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Why was she born so beautiful? Why was she born at all? Because she had no say in it, no say in it at all. Ain't what she used to be, ain't what she used to be, ain't what she used to be. The old lady ain't what she used to be, many long years ago. Many long years ago. Many long years ago. The old granny Mary, she ain't what she used to be, ain't what she used to be, ain't what she used to be. The old lady Mary, she ain't what she used to be, many long years ago.
It's time Birdsworth was leaving.
I'll come with you. Mrs. Jackson, we're releasing Lizzie now. Let the women stay here a little longer if they feel like it.
Right. Come along, Lizzie. You've got to get changed.
Take care of yourself, love. Yeah, you too, Lizzie. If it's a girl, will you call her after me?
What, Elizabeth?
Yeah, like the Queen Mum.
Yeah, sure. It's a nice name.
You should be getting out, not me. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, Lil.
That leaves her plenty of room.
You've been a good mate, Bea. What do you mean, Bean? Forget me already, your bag? I'll never forget you. Never.
Come on, Lizzie.
I'll never forget any of you. Bye, everybody. Thanks for the party. Bye, Mrs. Jackson. Bye. Remember to take your pills. Hey. Don't forget to take your pills. Don't. Oh, never mind. Okay. How's she gonna manage the room?
She had Doreen.
Those two together. I should as well start making up their beds now.
Sign here.
Goodbye and good luck, Lizzie.
Thank you, Mrs. Davidson.
Are you sure you're going to be all right?
Yeah. It's been a pleasure knowing you, Mrs. Davidson.
The pleasure's all mine, Lizzie.
And Mr. Reed reckons I'll get me pension straight away and me compensation a bit later on. I'll be set up for life with all that lovely lolly.
It'll last you about 2 weeks if I know you.
That's where you're wrong, Miss Bennett. I'm not going to spend it all on booze. I'm going to put it in the bank or one of them building societies. You get better interest from them.
Well, I'll believe that when I see it.
Where's Dor? Miss Bennett, Dor's not here.
Well, what am I supposed to do? Let you back inside again?
Oh, Miss Bennett, where's Dor?
She'll be here. She probably just missed the bus.
Do you reckon?
Yes.
Yeah. Probably just missed the bus.
He used to give me roses. I wish he could again. But that was on the outside, and things were different then.